Is that something new that you've done with refs being involved in camp so early?
No, anytime in camp, especially when we go live, we like everybody here helping us out.
How do you feel like that's helping this year with you trying to increase the level of physicality with
But, the officials are human, and, part of us having to get ready for the season is to deal with the calls that they make, even though we may or may not agree with them. And then it frees up all of our coaches to do whatever they need to do to make sure we're operating at a high level during live competition. So it's welcomed, it's different, it makes it more intense because it's not just a coach calling the game as officials, and I've done it forever.
What are you wanting increasing the physicality to look like on both ends?
There's a lot of things. Defensively, in the pick and roll situation, I know a screen's coming. I got to get up into the ball. I don't want to just turn here and try to force him towards the screen. I want to get up into the ball and skinny up and get over the screen at the same time. If a guy is going to set a screen, I want to bump, make him change his route. I don't want him to go from point A to point B in a direct line the way he wants to go. Those are a couple of examples on the defensive end. Offensively, I want to run. If somebody tries to do that to me, I want to run through it. I want to go set a hard, solid screen to get a teammate open. Those are a couple of examples. The biggest thing for us, though, on the defensive end of the floor is we're not a big team, especially when it comes to our starting five, which means we all have to do a great job of protecting the rim together. And that means if somebody gets beat on a drive and I'm on the weak side, I got to get my behind across and I got to take a hit. I got to take a charge. I don't care how big or small. I got to get ran over for the team so we can go the other way with it. Or if I'm late, I got to go vertical and take that hit in the chest.
How's Jason's offense, by the way?
What's that?
How's Jason's offense? I saw you batting.
You were lucky my feet weren't. I would have drawn the foul on you. They would have.
A little slow. But we can work on it. Okay. We can work on it. We gonna have one of them sessions out there.
Let's go.
You ready? Oh,
Let's go. I'm ready. That's all right, man.
Fox and HB have already talked about the hard coaching that you and your staff are doing. How are these guys responding to that, even though it's day two?
It's been great. I said this last year. I'll continue to say it. When you have your guys, your top guys especially, starting with Fox and Sabonis, when they allow you, and when I say you, I'm talking about me and the rest of the coaches, to coach them, then it makes our job easier to coach everybody else. And so we're not going to treat them any different just because they're quote-unquote superstars. That's who, they superstars. They get paid for being superstars. So we have to make sure that we coach them hard, and allows us to coach everybody else. But like I said, it wouldn't be able to happen without them giving the blessing to it.
Is there a difference between having a player's respect and having a player's trust from a coaching standpoint?
I think it's basically the same thing. I think respect and trust kind of go hand in hand, because usually you don't respect somebody if you don't trust them to a certain degree. You may not fully trust them, but you trust them to a certain degree, and so I think they go hand in hand.
This first week before the preseason schedule kind of gets underway on Sunday, what is it that you're most honing in on?
The level of physicality. I'm gonna keep harping on it because, like I said, we have to start right now. It can't be something that we try to figure out come playoff time, because then it'd be too late.
How much
what's
is
your
JaVale's?
philosophy on having training camp here in Sacramento compared to other teams that may have it, in San Diego and Colorado? Just what's your thought process on that?
I got to give our ownership group credit, starting with Vivek. He putting his money where his mouth is, or did I say that right? Or his mouth where his money is?
Yeah, you got it.
Money
You got it.
where his mouth is.
Whatever.
Yeah, you got it.
Okay, it's all the same.
Some kind of
what I'm talking about. And I mean, this is a beautiful facility, and we have everything we need right here, while having the luxury of going home to our families. And again, we talked about the word family yesterday, and part of it is, trying to spend time with them, and we don't get a ton of opportunity to do that. And so if we're able to go home and sleep in our own bed and see our wives or kids or whatever on a night in, night out basis, hopefully it makes it a little easier for everybody else when it is time to go hit the road, because we're around these 2 weeks or this week and a half or whatever it is during training camp.
Mike, two questions. One, you talked about physicality. How much is that showing up from JaVale already in practice?
No, hey, he's been in multiple finals, so he understands what it takes to play at that level. The one thing JaVale probably is going to have to get used to, and he can do it, but is to play fast, not most possessions, but every possession. And we're going to continue to push him to do that on both sides of the ball. But his length, his size, like he's not just long and skinny. He's a grown-ass man, if I can say that, and he's big. So he's big across the chest. He's got broad shoulders, and he's long. He's athletic, and he knows how to play. And so adding that to our team is going to give us a different look compared to what we had last year.
Okay. And also, did you have full participation from everybody today?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
When you look at that backup 5 spot, obviously McGee, Landon, and Lyles even showed some things as like a stretch 5 in the playoffs. Like, how do you view utilizing that? Is it going to be based on matchup, or are you leaning more toward defense? Like, how do you look at that backup 5 spot?
No, we're going to go with who we go with at the end of the day, and we're going to rock with that. And obviously, you guys know, I'm not afraid to make a change if I need to, and so if I feel like we need to make a change, we will. But it's whatever gut feel we have at that time, or whatever success we have to pass at that versus that team at the time.
Mike, you talked about having practice here, training camp here, but how does that translate to the regular season? Because I know this last season, you guys were great on the road, 25 wins on the road, but one of your best ways to improve is to get better at home with only 23 wins. How do you get that, push that message?
Well, I felt, and there could be a lot of different reasons, that our crowd is so good, that sometimes we rely on them to bring the energy for us while we're here, and we can't go into any home game thinking that, okay, hey, we could turn it up at the end because we're at home. We're used to these rims, or the crowd's going to give us that extra energy. We have to have an appropriate fear, that same appropriate fear for whoever our opponent is at home. Like on the road, on the road, you're going into somebody else's building. It's a funky environment. You're probably locked in a little bit more because you're not, staying up till 10 o'clock with the kids and then watching a movie till midnight with your wife or something like that, or going to have dinner with your boys and stay. So it's probably a little bit different on the road because our team is great in terms of focusing with their time but having that appropriate fear, no matter who we play at home, is going to be big for us, and just let all the other things come as they come.
Speaking of the crowd, home opener against the Warriors, how much are you already, or just addressing and working on specific things that you faced from the Warriors in the playoffs versus more just broad?
The Warriors, they were NBA champions last year, so they taught us a lot. And so some of the adjustments that we're making this year on both sides of the ball are because of that series. And, when you experience playing the world champions in the playoffs in a 7-game series, you learn a lot about yourself. And I felt we did last year, and hopefully we can have some carryover to it this year.
It looked like you had 1s and 2s out there today. Did you guys scrimmage, and if so, what'd that look like?
Yeah, no, we knocked heads yesterday. We did it today, and we'll continue to do it throughout the course of camp. And I thought we were a little bit better today than what we were yesterday, and that's what makes it fun. One of the things that we did, we did we scrimmaged in a way where the defense was already waiting on us and already know it was coming. And we limited certain things that we could do offensively, and that makes it that much harder to try to execute. For day 2, our guys did a fantastic job doing it.